Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Strong Style. You guys don't realize how bad I've wanted to return this show. Don't worry, there's no crazy reason that was kept off of this except for just haven't been able to do the show. Been able to keep the wrestling ones up. I wanted to make sure to keep all of those up so that if you guys are following along at home with all of the pay-per-views, AEW and WWE, that you still were getting great content. It's just been a crazy year. It's been a crazy year. And this was actually the last, this and Board Check. Board Check's coming. This was one of the last ones to be able to get it back. And it's going to actually lead this week off. It's the first show we did this week. There are more to come. All 6 will be out this week. Other than that, shout out Jay Briscoe. He's deeply missed. I'm a big Briscoe fan. Became one late in their career, but you got to respect those guys. And Mark continuing the legacy, just fantastic. And we're going to talk about Mark here in a minute. But for people who don't know what Strong Style is Impact Media's weekly dive off the top rope. It's a Randy Savage elbow this week for everybody. Into the world of mixed martial arts and professional wrestling. Yes, there is going to be some UFC talk because, oh my God, did you guys see the Sphere? The UFC at the Sphere. Wow. What is, okay, I had a string or something. I could see it on camera. That's how crazy it was. But the UFC at the Sphere. Wow. Can we start there? We'll just start there. Let's start there. If you want to follow the show, Impact_Media_ on YouTube, which hopefully is where you're watching the show. But if you're watching it through any of our social media links, go on by YouTube, subscribe to the show, drop us a question, comment, suggestion, rating, review, anything. You want to just put a random emoji. I'm cool with that. We do want to do giveaways, but over the summer we try to do giveaways, and I don't think you guys really, maybe we weren't giving the right things away. We're going to have some guests on this show coming up between now and the end of the year. We're trying to line some of those up. I know I say that a lot, but I promise you, talks with a lot of these people are a lot further along than you think. What am I missing? I'm not missing anything. So let's start right there. Let's start with UFC 306, or as I call it, Noche, which I believe is night. Buenos noches. Yep. I've been working on my Spanish, guys. Been working on my Spanish, part of something I'm trying to do. Just to help things out. I know a lot of Spanish people, and I want to be able to talk to them. So I'm trying to learn Spanish. So bear with me as I try to learn some of those. But before we even get into the action, no joke. The Sphere, for people that don't know, is this thing in Las Vegas that literally is a giant globe, and on the inside of it, they have events. I believe they had the NFL draft, and it's this whole immersive thing. It's the same basic concept with this show. That you guys know, this is not it's a real picture, but it's not a real background. I'm not actually at a gym right now. Could be, but I'm not. But they do this throughout the whole Sphere. So you're inside this thing, and like you could have like dragons curling up, and you could have like the sky, and they kept doing so many immersive things um that Bruce Buffer, they show him at one point, and he's just like, this is wild. This is wild, doing entrance videos and things and just everything. It's like a 360 movie screen. And I got to give, because I haven't seen a lot of things there. There have been a lot of things there, but I got to give Dana credit. This is one of the greatest uses of that facility that I have ever seen. Just incredible, just absolutely incredible. The things they did with this thing, and if you can go Forget pictures. Go find some videos on any of your favorite social media platforms. I'm sure people have them or have shared them, or the UFC has shared them. Do yourself a favor and just see this thing. It is, I don't know, the pictures would probably do it justice, but I wasn't there, so I don't. I know somebody that was actually. I'm going to reach out to them and see if I can either get some comments, or maybe I can get maybe this maybe this will ring some bells. Maybe I can get her on. Think she got a little famous over the spring and summer, so we'll see if we can get her on. But just man, it was it was something else. But as you guys know, when we talk UFC, PFL, a little bit of Bellator when we can, but when we talk UFC and PFL, we talk about the main event. And I am going to start actually with the sixth fight, because if you go from the main event down, this is the sixth fight, Irene Aldana and Norma Dumont. Man, this is a good fight. This is a good fight. I liked it. Norma and Irene they're known to take it to the judges. They're known to just unleash the fury on people, on their opponents, and um, it's easy for me to say this now because you guys are just going to say, well, you just picked the winner. But no, I would have picked Norma in this one. I think she had a slight edge over Irene, but I mean, you line these two ladies up, and every time it might go the other direction. Unanimous decision win for Norma Dumont. That's a great win for her. She's up to 12 and 2. 15 and 8 for Irene is still not in this day and age. You don't get a lot of people that just run away with it. Most of your top contenders are going to have a handful of losses. So 15 and 8 in her professional career is still outstanding. Bunch of decisions on this one. Ronaldo Rodriguez with a unanimous decision win over O'Day Osborne. Pretty good fight. I thought Norma and Irene were a little better, but Ronaldo brought it, and he got the unanimous decision win there. Split decision win for Esteban Rabovic over Daniel Zellhuber. Pretty good fight. Pretty good, split decision. It tells you a lot. It was very even, very back and forth. Diego Lopez with the unanimous decision win over Brian Ortega. Brian looked pretty good in this. He had the injury a little ways back. It was good to see him back, and he seemed like he looked and felt pretty good. But he just couldn't keep Diego Lopez from just taking control of the fight and ultimately winning it. In the co-main event, this one was fun. This one was fun, which all four people that were involved in the co-main and the main event are must watches if they are ever doing practically anything. But Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko were fighting for the women's flyweight championship. This thing goes down to decision. Would you want to have to be that judge? Would that when they read your scorecard, you picked one and not the other? This this is another one. These two could fight for days, and I think it would look about as even as this one did here. Now, in this case, Valentina Shevchenko did a little bit more than Grasso, a little bit more, and she gets a unanimous decision win. She's your women's flyweight champion, and watching her and the winner of the next fight dancing in the back together was great. Was absolutely great to see the cultural um just greatness. I mean, such a cultural night with the Noche and um kind of a Day of the Dead theme out with the Sphere. It was fantastic. I really love that part of culture, especially the the Halloween into All Saints Day and everything. It's just a wonderful time of year, just weather wise and just culture wise. It's fun. You want to get into something really cultural? That's something fun coming up that you guys should really look into. But then we get to the main event. And in the main event, Sugar Sean O'Malley against Merab Davishvili. This is a good fight. This is a good fight. Um, Merab won at least 3 rounds. Trying to remember. I don't have what I wrote down in front of me. I believe Sean. You could give Sugar Sean O'Malley round 3. I think you give him round 5. He had a little bit of a fury, a flurry there, and he definitely. I would say he definitely won 5. 3, I would say he won. But Marab won the other 3. And 2 of the 3 judges agreed with what I just said. And 1 judge only gave Sean round number 5. You wouldn't know that he lost because he posted his own version of his own athletic commission overturn the Sugar Athletic Commission. I don't know. He said he thought he won 3 rounds. Sean, you're a great fighter. You and Marab are 2 of the best by far. This is only like the second loss. I think you had a no contest was the other one. But Sean, think about this. Think about this for a moment. Um, whatever makes you feel better if you want to say that you did that, but Dana White will be the first to tell you if you don't want other people to decide who won and who lost the fight, you got to get a finish. And since you couldn't finish Marab, you turn it over to 3 judges who will see the fight the way they saw it. And like I said, I agree with 2 of the 3 of them. The other one, I felt she had 2 rounds, but all 3 judges saw it for the other guy. So, kind of is what it is. But just spectacular, spectacular the way they did that one. In fact, they're going to take a couple of weeks off, and then you're going to get Fight Night, Moicano versus Saint Denis. Oh man, I did not know about that one. That one snuck up on me. I'm going to have to try to catch that one. That was in a couple weeks. It's not to see. That would be the 27th. I think he's trying to show me. 28th. That's gonna be the 28th. That's that Saturday. That's a big Saturday. That one. Ooh, that one is going to be at the Accor Arena in Paris, in Paris. Ooh, wow. Saint Denis and Moicano. What does the rest of the card look like? Nasruddin Imavov and Brendan Allen. That could be a main event. Um, William Gomez and Joe Anderson Brito. Okay. Kevin Juice and Brian Battle. Could be interesting. There's a lot of French fighters on here. That's what they did. That's fantastic. Matt Frivola's going to be on here. Nora Canole. That's a fun card. That's a fun card. Definitely check that one out. But for the sake of not saying too much on it, definitely go check out any kind of videos you could see of the Sphere and the walkouts and the pageantry that they had. Just spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Congratulations to Marab and to Shevchenko for their title wins. Let's talk a little wrestling. Let's start with some AEW. Now, I'm not going to go match by match. That's something I am changing up. You guys don't want to hear match by match because you either watched it or if it ain't, some of it ain't worth talking about. AEW has a fantastic storyline going right now that involves Jon Moxley, that involves Marina Shafir, Pac, Claudio. They're all a group. They tried to take out Brian Danielson or Daniel Bryan and Brian Danielson. That's his name. They tried to take him out. Even put a plastic bag over his. Yeah, you guys saw our AEW recap last week. It's that's a weird one. That's a weird one. But he is Moxley has said to Shivani, "This is not your company anymore." What in the world does that mean? There's the rumor. We have to address it. There's the rumor that Shane McMahon could be coming on to AEW in some sort of role, and that he could be leading this kind of invasion, kind of NWO style thing, which is possible. Um, I kind of look at it as that Moxley looks at Brian Danielson and says, "Well, the next time you lose, you're out because you said when you lose the title, you're gone. So you're not a permanent member of this group because then we're just going to have to replace you." So they've kind of done that with Pac already, and kind of a head scratcher. But I like the angle. I like Marina Shafir with them. It gives her the most solid thing she's had since being in AEW as an enforcer, and she's good at it. She tears some people up. She got an MMA background. She could really tear some people up if you are not careful. But that's kind of where they're going with it at the moment. That's they've attacked some other random people like Leo Rush, uh, no, not Leo Rush, Private Party and Commander. They and some random people. They've attacked some people here and there. That's not really their MO. And I think kind of what they're trying to say is that they want AEW to be a certain style of wrestling. And kind of what makes it fun is that there's all those different ones, but they look at the private parties and maybe it's just that the private parties, the commanders seem to have fun, seem to be a little more light in the way they do things. Maybe Mox just wants to be a serious physical brawler. Maybe that's what it is. But it's a good storyline. I like it. I'm a big Mox fan anyway, as far as a lot of his in-ring work, and I kind of want to see where this is going. I think they're going to add more members. I don't know who. They people have said maybe Miro. I don't know that Miro necessarily fits this group. He could, but I don't know. Plus, we've been promised Miro for like 2 years, so until I see Miro show up, then I'm just gonna go on about my day. We did. This is on Dynamite. We did get to see Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara, which was a really good match. I felt like it could have been better, but I think Ricochet being new to AEW and Sammy Guevara being just back off basically paternity leave. I think if you gave them the chance to rematch this in a month, it might be a 5-star classic. But instead, it was 3.5, 4. It was pretty good. But these Ricochet versus the roster are gonna be so much fun. I like that Will Ospreay said that to Ricochet that, bro, you want a piece of me? Go get some wins and then talk to me. You just got here. I like that. First off, you shouldn't walk in and get title shots. It's stupid, and it demeans the entire rest of the roster. And it also tells us what to think about you a lot of times. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And Sammy Guevara, he's still really good. He could be even better. We'll see what he does. He is a tag team champion with Dustin. Um, Mox and Darby. I didn't mention that. Mox and Darby are basically going to battle for the number one contendership that Darby won. But they're going to do that at the next pay-per-view, which I believe is next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend. And also, Brian Danielson is going to rematch against Nigel McGuinness in a non-title match. It's fun to see Nigel back in there, and him and Nigel used to beat the crap out of each other in Ring of Honor and elsewhere. So that's going to be fantastic. Um, as far as women's division, it's still one of the most stacked, loaded divisions. Mariah May as champion, I think she's a transitional champion. I think they're getting some of these Title defense is under her belt just for the sake of it, but I think somebody is going to come take it from her in the very near future because she's all right, but they had her on commentary. That is not her strong point. She's good on a mic. She is not good on a headset. She wasn't bad. We'll put it that way, but she didn't really add anything to the match. Where when Virtuosa or even Taya, some of those, and they're probably more tenured veterans as well, uh, so they're used to it. But she just didn't add anything to the broadcast. It felt like they were almost like trying to just make her talk, and she didn't have a lot to say, which it was an okay match she was watching. I like that they're pushing Queen Amanada. She is very good. She could really be a star for them down the road. But what else was there? It's not a big thing. They had the Gauntlet tag team match to determine the number one contenders for the tag team belts, and you go with the Hot Hand and Fletcher and Osprey win that one. Of all the established teams in that one, you take the one with two random guys. But what people don't know is that those two have teamed all over the world before. Um, Fletcher's normal tag team partner is still injured. Last I knew, him and Osprey were in the same group in Japan for the longest time, so they have teamed dozens and dozens of times. They're a good team. So we'll see what they do at the pay per view. Um, Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy as a trio are kind of fun. Um, I was surprised that Dark Order was still with the company. I'm glad they are. Glad to see them on TV. Now, Rampage, we did get to see Camille. Camille versus Robin Renegade. Robin was giving it to her, but Camille is a ultra talent. She is big, she is physical, she is very strong, and she is very methodical in how she wrestles. So I think you guys are going to enjoy her. You may want to boo her because she's with Mercedes Monet. I don't blame you there, but they had her come out on her own here. Probably because Mercedes doesn't want to come out on Rampage, but that's her loss, and it's our game. Um, I don't understand why the Righteous is not used more, but that's for another day. And it looks like that Jamie Hayter's first feud is going to be with Saraya and Harley Quinn, and that should be fun. Big Jamie Hayter fan. I like Saraya too, and Harley's pretty good. But what's crazy is that all of them are former WWE developmental talents, all three of them. Yeah, WWE couldn't figure out what to do with them, or in Saraya's case, she found her own way out, and now they all sit in AEW to stare at each other. And Takeshita, he's going to be a star. Takeshita, future world champion, I'd say within a year or so, or some sort of belt because he can talk a little bit. He is just a big bruiser of a talent. I mean, can just do everything. Takeshita is amazing, absolutely amazing. Jack Perry versus Chris Daniels. Pretty solid match. Chris Daniels can still go. Jack Perry needed another solid win, so why not go against the GM? Chris Daniels can wrestle, though. You guys know that. But the Jack Perry scapegoat thing, I think we can all identify with that. That even though you're part of a group, sometimes you still feel like the last member on the roster, so to say, and you got to prove yourself and continue to do things your own way because it's the only way it's going to make it work. So I see you, Jack Perry, and keep doing what you're doing. Not that he needs my approval; he definitely does not. But Jack Perry, big time player, absolutely big time player. Um, Not a lot happened on Collision. It was a lot of just who wants to wrestle, then go to the ring. Um, Yuka Sakazaki returned and beat Serena Deeb, which is a solid win. Yuka is going to challenge. I think Mariah May next, and they're trying to just make her kind of boost her up to a higher level. Yuka's really good, but you don't have near enough time to push her to make her look like somebody who can beat Mariah May for the belt. So it's not going to happen. Congrats to Yuka for getting a shot. The Bang Bang Gang and the Cage of Agony. Fantastic match. Those six guys know how to work a match, and big fan of the Bang Bang Gang. As I think the Guns have come such a long way from where they were and where they started, and Juice Robinson is probably the only person with a crazier looking beard than mine right now. And you guys don't get used to this. It's not going to stick around too much longer. It's not completely going, but it looks way cooler on this screen right now than it actually does in person. Just know that. We'll change some stuff up. There's some stuff coming up we're going to definitely get into. And FTR versus the Grizzled Young Vets. I think this should go more than one match. I think these guys should wrestle two or three times, and I think it's going to be fantastic. And those are two of the better, more skilled classic tag teams. That's the way I want to say it. They understand how tag team wrestling works, and they understand it better than anybody. All right, let's go to Raw. I'm going to try to run through some of these real quick. We'll go to Raw. The Wyatt Six and the American Made in the street fight. A lot of good spots in that one. A lot of good shots in that one. The Wyatt Six get it. This should be the end of this particular feud. Not sure where the Wyatts are going to go from here. But American Made is a nice little four piece of the Creed brothers, Ivy Nile, and Chad Gable. Gable, we got to throw this out here. Gable, who got dealt a good hand in all the stuff he had done up until the part where they hired or they where they signed Gable Steveson. And then we all knew, well, can't have two people named Gable, and they're gonna probably go with the Olympian, the Olympic star, and Gable's actually won too. Or Chad Gable is actually won too, but they're probably gonna go with the big hot name and keep Gable Steveson and probably drop Chad Gable. And then Gable didn't pan out. Gable Steveson didn't pan out. And you guys can say what you want, and you can say, oh, he stepped away to do other endeavors. He took the Brock Lesnar path. He, except for in Brock's case, wrestling was working. He decided he wanted to do something different. For Gable, it was not working. So he decided he was going to go play football, something he hasn't really played much since high school. And I think he made it to the last cuts. I believe it was with the Vikings, which oddly enough, same as Brock Lesnar. And he didn't make the NFL either. So I don't really, I think now that he's done well, I don't know if he can go back and still wrestle. He can on an Olympic level, but I don't think he can in a college collegiate level anymore. It'd be interesting to see what Gable Steveson does. He's such a talented performer, and his brother recently left NXT as well. So maybe those two will go do something. But Chad Gable has more than made himself into a just viable can't miss competitor. I love Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett as the commentators. By the way, they are spectacular together. And the Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest versus the Judgment Day. They're trying to build the Judgment Day back up. It's kind of hard when you took two of the better members, strongest members out. But I think it can work. You just you almost need to move Rhea and Priest to SmackDown, or you need to move them away from them because they're just going to keep running the Judgment Day if not. And that's what I would do. Um, I'm really upset that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are not the women's tag team champions. Why give them the belts if you're just going to give them back to Jade and Belair, the first shot you really got? I think it's because you don't know what to do with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I said it on our recap show. I'll say it here. I think Creative just has nothing. Excuse me there. Just has nothing. They can't figure it. They want to make them fight each other, but it doesn't make sense right now. So they just team them up and have them run over everybody. And they're both talented. But it's just, guys, figure it out. Hopefully, this isn't a long, slow burn to WrestleMania and have these two face because you're gonna waste the story until then. Good to see Bret Hart back out there. Good that Gunther and Sami Zayn were involved. That's a great feud that's coming up very soon. Everybody seems to think Gunther's going to be champion for like a million years. What if Sammy beats him? What if Sammy's that guy that just beat? What if he's the Sammy's the Giants and Gunther's the Patriots, where you can play all you want, but when you play for a championship, the other guy figures it out. But other than that, they're really building Braun Breaker, which I think is exceptional. He is a future star, by far a future star in the business. And not a lot else. There's some, I mean, most of it's just not really filler, but most of it's just stuff that doesn't play as much as some of those other ones. Solo versus Cody, I feel like that should be done because Cody won in a cage. The Bloodline were involved, Roman were involved in that one. That started SmackDown. That was interesting. I like doing that instead of ending it that way. But it's time. First off, it's time for Cody to have a different opponent, and second off, it's time for somebody to take the belt off of him. It's got to be somebody credible and somebody legitimate. Um, I thought Gunther would have been the right choice, but there's a couple over there that maybe you got to do some things with. But other than that, Cody's still really good, and it's nothing against Cody. It's just you need to shake that one up. I thought you should do that one before you did the Raw belt, but as you can tell, they do not, unfortunately. They may listen to me with some hidden microphones that are probably in this room, but they do not actually consult me in what's going on. There wasn't a lot on SmackDown this week. Theory and Waller, I keep wondering if they're going to break them up or keep them together. And I'd keep them together. They're a pretty solid team, but it just seems like if you're going to split them over like the Intercontinental title or something. Split them over them both going for something big. Um, if you're going to split them, Survivor Series or something like that, where one takes the other one out. Something along those lines. But other than that, the Nia being the champion and when is Tiffy time because she has the briefcase. They're going to drag this out. It's good that somebody like Tiffany Stratton has the briefcase because whenever you need an audible, whenever there's an injury or something crazy happens, that's the ace up the sleeve. You just point and go get it. But other than that, they just kind of drag it along. There's only so many things they can do before those two are just going to end up having to face off. We move to NXT. For some reason, the Rascals could not come take on Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the tag team championships of NXT, which would have been a spectacular match, just spectacular match. Instead, we got the Street Profits who stepped in, and that ended up being a really good match. But we knew good and well Axiom and Frazier not losing. If it was the Rascals, there's a chance they could have won. But you got to do what you got to do. I think Trey Miguel's hurt is why. We got to see the debut of Julia as she took on Chelsea Green. Chelsea is a great talent to work with, so Julia had a good match with her. Julia is a phenom from Japan. Really made a name over there, like Stephanie Vaquer. And there's another one. And I agree with CM Punk that the reason why Roxanne Perez should stick around before getting called up to Raw or SmackDown is because there are some dream matches between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer and her that need to happen. They need to happen. You forget records and records in wrestling most of the time, whatever. You want to see the best matchups you can possibly see. Well, we watch other sports. Don't we want to see the best matchups? College football. Don't you want to see Georgia versus Texas? Well, you're going to see it in a couple of weeks. But that's not just because they're number one versus number two. They're probably the two best teams in the country. Wouldn't you want to see the two fastest people race? Don't you want to see the best pitcher versus the best catcher? Then you want to see Julia and Roxanne and there's some other ones in NXT too that can go. But Stephanie, and you want to see that. And hopefully we see it sooner rather than later. I really hope they do. Quick note, I like seeing Hammerstone in NXT. I hate it for Impact because at some point him and Joe Hendry would make great fits in NXT, and there's not much TNA can do about it if they're out of contract. The Hammerstone just signed a contract, but I'm not sure about Hendry. I would watch that one. The pairing of TNA's Rosemary and NXT's Wendy Chu is interesting. Yeah, you pair Rosemary up with another dark character, but Wendy Chu, now that she does the kind of undead doll look, I think it's spectacular. Spectacular. She took a bunch of time off, I think got her degree, and then now she's come back fully healed, fully charged, and she's doing some of her best work. And Rosemary is a good one to mentor her. Uh, Wendy plays it right. She might could win a title. She could definitely win a title. Not sure which one, but she could definitely win one. But really, just really enjoy their work. I think that was slight announcement that's going to tie into NXT. Lexus King, who I will pitch this idea to him shortly because there's a very short time period I may be running into this guy. Lexus King is going to be at October 26th, I believe it's a Saturday I think it's at New Realm still, but Deep South Wrestling. Deep South Wrestling that used to be a developmental territory for the WWE is now in a partnership with NXT. Yeah. Eric Adams does it again, guys. And he is Captain Impossible. I am happy to take that hat off and hand it to him. Captain Impossible, shout out to you, Eric. And I know you're gonna watch this show. Shout out. You're getting Lexus King. And like I said, there is a working relationship now between Deep South Wrestling and NXT. So you're going to see some more matchups and some more mashups. I'll go ahead and say it. Does that mean we're going to see Skrilla in NXT? Could we? Maybe. Maybe so. There's a lot of other ones I could mention. I'm going to stay with that one because if I say too much more, Eric is going to probably come in here and beat me up. And he's going to do it as my friend because that we're on that friend level. He's going to beat me up so I don't say any more crazy things that could actually happen, and then he's going to feel bad for it. Yeah, make sure that I'm actually okay. Alex, Eric, great dude, love that guy. But yeah, we're gonna see Lexus King very very soon. I'm gonna pitch the idea to him that I think they can call it something different, but they should revamp a version of the Hart Foundation. You could either do Sean Spears or you could do Ethan Page, both of which are Canadian, I am pretty sure. And I know what people are going to say. Lexus King is from Ohio, where his dad's from. Yeah, but his dad trained with the Hearts. I don't have a problem with him claiming that. And the work he's doing right now is spectacular. Lexus King really understanding the role he needs to be in, and he's almost there. He's almost going to be that guy that you just can't ignore, and he's going to be in every main event. But let's get a little TNA. We'll talk a little TNA in a little while, and we will be out for the night. I don't know how long this show has been going on. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully you're still with us. TNA Macklin versus Hammerstone. This match was incredible. It should have been a pay-per-view main event. In fact, I believe TNA will be in Atlanta in November or December for a pay-per-view. I got to look at that. Maybe January. I don't know. But TNA is going to be in town. We may try to see about trying to go. We may, and if you guys are going, let us know. And if you didn't know they're coming to town, they definitely are. We know that the WWE is going to be here in early. What is it? The first? Is it the first? Is it the fifth? The fifth or the sixth or something? It's the sixth, I think. October 6th. Bad Blood. Trying to work our way into that one as well. But Macklin versus Hammerstone, awesome, awesome match. So this is all coming off Victory Road. Their Victory Road. It's one of their more solid pay-per-views. We got to see Heather Reckless, which is their newest knockout against Giselle Shaw. Looks like Heather Reckless is trying to pair up with Ash by Elegance. Could be a lot worse. Those two could actually help each other quite a bit. And Heather Reckless is a really, really good really good talent. See if we can get this pulled up. We had it. See if it'll do it. But what else was there? TNA is still doing some good stuff. They've always had a just killer roster, but just sometimes the way they pair them up, just once again, with a head scratcher. Here we go. They were in San Antonio, Texas. Okay, that's where that started then. Okay, Hammerstone and Jake Something defeated Eric Young and Steve Macklin on the pre-show. First off, okay, I'll throw something in there as well. Why are those four on the pre-show? It's not because it was loaded. You took up too much time with some other stuff. Kushida also beat Leon Slater. I bet that was a fun match. Um, the Hardys defeated AJ Francis and KC Navarro. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine as to what happened to Rich Swann. I would be willing to bet some sort of legal trouble because that's what happened last time. And sometimes these guys just can't figure it out. And if it's not legal trouble, then it's not because he's hurt. I don't believe. I do not remember what happened, but I think it is something he did on his own. I mean, how many more Hardys matches do we got? It's good that they keep doing it, but these are novelty matches now. We know they don't mean anything. The X Division Championship, Mike Bailey defeated Zachary Wentz to win the title. Once again, this was dumb because you had Wentz win the belt so that when he went against his former best friend over in NXT in Wes Lee, that it just meant more having him with the belt, and then you just turn around and just hand it right back to Mike Bailey. It's stupid. You should just not give it to him at all because now that win doesn't it means squadouche. That's what it means. It means absolute squadouche. You wasted all of our time and you wasted those resources. So fun. Now, granted, Bailey versus Wentz was spectacular because Zach can go. And he's one of the few that can keep up with Bailey. So great match, but didn't mean anything. He get the belt back. Okay, great. Well, he's gonna be like 15-time X Division champion because you don't do anything else with Mike Bailey. He's usually your opener. Um, Matt Cardona versus Steph DeLander, or Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander, the former couple. And by couple, in-ring couple, not Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona are a real couple. You guys know that. They took on PCO and Rhino. Steph DeLander cut a promo to inform the crowd that she needs neck surgery, which pretty sure she does. She's going to be back, but can't have a match if somebody's got a busted neck. So I don't know why they tried her out there to do that. They could have, I don't know, took that tag match of Hammerstone and Jake something versus Eric Young and Steve Macklin, and that could have been on the pay-per-view. But it wasn't. Really, TNA, I'm serious. You could put me on your staff for 6 months, and I'll be willing to bet numbers go up. Just from ideas and from things I'd go, no, don't do that. Or go, hey, here's an idea. Or that's a great idea. Let's do that more. I'm just saying. We could easily work out something. We will figure out something. I can either telecommute or I will commute to Nashville or wherever you guys want to run out of nowadays. We will talk about this. However, we got other stuff to talk about. There was a tag team championship in the Knockouts division. Jody Threat and Danny Luna defeated Masha Slamovich and Tasha Steeles to win the titles. If Spitfire lost, they were going to have to disband. Then what would they do with the two of them? And since Alicia Edwards is not medically cleared, they brought Tasha Steeles in. Tasha is a unsung hero. There are a lot of times she has stepped in to situations and made it better. But it also leaves it to where Alicia can always say that Masha and her have never lost to or did not lose to Jody and Danny. I do like the pairing of Threat and Luna. I think Danny Luna is going to be a big player for them in the near future, and Jody Threat's just good. Then we go to Joe Hendry versus Josh Alexander. Man, they were on fire. These not literally would have been interesting, but these two just really, really took it out on each other. And if you ever wondered if Joe Hendry is good enough to be in that top position, I think he proved it against Josh Alexander here. The false finish where Alexander was tapping and the referee didn't see it, and then Joe made him tap again to an ankle lock, I believe it was. Yeah, and got him to tap a second time. It just they realize they have a star in Joe Hendry, and you better do everything you can to hang on to him because I'd be willing to bet not just WWE is wanting to bid for him when that contract comes up, and it may be a Buddy Murphy situation where AEW is probably paying Buddy Murphy slightly more than his actual market value, because if they don't, he's going to go back to WWE with his wife Rhea and terrorize people. So sometimes you have to bump it up a little bit so that you don't go to the other side. Tag team championship, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards defeated Ace Austin and Chris Bay to win the titles. Once again, we're just playing carousel. We're playing the titles bounce around so much in TNA. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You find some people and just let them have it for a while. I think was the longest tenured champion. Was probably Moose for a while, but now it's we're gonna get into it. Knockouts championship. Jordan Grace defeated Wendy Chu. I really wish they would have built this up a little more and did a little further down the road. I wanted Chu to have um, a little more steam coming down the tracks. But Sleepy Psycho, I like that as a name. That'd be a great band name. That'd be a fantastic shirt. I hope they stick that on a shirt somewhere. I may have to buy it just as soon as I get Alexis King shirt. But good match though. A lot of people would say it's a mismatch. No, Jordan Grace and Wendy Chu really put on a show. And I know I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did as well. Um, afterwards, Rosemary Spirits Grace. That means at some point they're going to face, and then Chu put the Juggernaut to sleep. It opens it up for down the road. They're going to fight again. And then TNA World Championship, Nick Nemeth took on Moose. Nick Nemeth keeps the belt as he should. Moose, man, he's an unsung hero too, is that he helped carry that world title for a long time and made it really mean a lot, so that when Nick beat him for it, it meant a lot more. And this is a really good match. It really was. Um, Having Santana involved, I want to see where Santana gets into this because I feel like of all the things that TNA could do slightly better, the way they are booking Mike Santana might be the best. Might be the absolute best. This just they're really, really doing some good stuff with Mike Santana, and I think it's going to show. I think it's definitely going to show. Lastly, let's get into Wow Women of Wrestling. They just started season 3. I don't remember which season they said. I think it's season 3. They got a new stage. I feel like they are not in LA anymore. I think they're in Vegas. But we open up with Fury, one of my favorites. Super chill young lady. Definitely super chill young lady. Met her at a Deep South show where she took on Gemma. Sorry, Gemma, but I almost called you by the other name. That's why I had to catch myself. I'm sorry. But Fury versus Ice Cold was pretty good. Ice Cold pitched a crazy fit in the ring afterwards when she lost and in the back. I don't know how long she's going to stick around. Maybe Ice Cold's going to redo the way she does things, or maybe she pairs back up with Genesis or one of those. But Fury with a good solid win. Definitely one of the better talents, and not because she's one of the ones I met. No, she can really work. And I mean, she was trained by Robert Gibson, so you know, he ain't gonna be a slouch. But I feel like she really does some good stuff, and I would like to see her on an elevated level. And Dave McClain, if and Nigel, if you are listening, I will start the petition or start the campaign that Fury get a little more high profile matches. She can definitely more than hang with the top tier people. I believe so. Um, what did I write? Oh, congratulations on the new announcer. There's a new announcer. That's what makes me think they moved because the announcer, I don't know her name yet. They didn't really say it, but she used to announce with the Vegas Golden Knights, used to do a lot of in-house MC work and stuff like that. Go Knights. And it's fantastic. Uh, just wow, continuing to just roll with it. One of my favorite tag teams that they have is Animal Instincts, Goldie Collins and Katarina Jinx. These two look like you pick two random people out of a fishbowl and put them as a team. But when you watch the way they play off each other, the way they actually work as a team, this works and it works great. You get Goldie Collins in the all white a lot of times, Katarina in the mostly black and the whip. She's very good with the whip. They actually got the win over the Mighty Mites, which I thought they should. You know, most of the time they weren't getting the wins against the teams they should have. But if you told me, I don't know, in the next 4 or 5 weeks of shows that Goldie Collins and Katarina Jinx either get a tag team title shot or win the tag team titles, I'd believe you. I'd believe you, and I'd say it's about time. I think they're a team that gets overlooked a lot, and they're really good. Um, Abilene Maverick and Jesse Jones came down and caused a ruckus right before the main event. Jesse probably should be a number one contender. Abilene will be when she's medically cleared. But we got to see Penelope Pink with Lana Star take on Princess Aussie. I believe this is for number one contendership, which is also what set Jesse off. Really, really good match. Penelope can win on her own, but having Lana in her corner just gives her that extra boost and extra edge, you know, just like a Mario power up, you know. That's just kind of what it adds to it. And at times she had Princess Aussie where she almost beat her on her own. And then Princess Aussie battled back, really had control of everything until Lana gets involved. Penelope gets the win. She's the new number one contender. So Beast versus Penelope. Don't know why it's not Beast and Jesse, unless Jesse's hurt again. But if that's the way they kick off their season, wow, it's going to be very, very fun to watch this year. Hopefully, I didn't bore you guys all that much. As I said, Deep South Wrestling does have a show. October 26th is where it's penciled in right now. That is the one that Lex King will be on. But this Sunday at New Realm Brewery, 6 p.m., that is a Sunday. Sunday. I can do better than that. Sunday. You guys remember those commercials, right? Yeah, we're all that old, guys. We remember those. But Deep South Wrestling is going to be at New Realm Brewery, which means you will see this guy at New Realm Brewery. Want to throw this out here again. I do not work for Deep South. I do their media write-ups when I'm at their shows. So if you tune in to, or if you check out Georgia Wrestling History and you see the Deep South write-ups, a lot of the New Realm shows for sure you will see me as the writer of those. So come say hello. I'm not hard to find, and come have a good time at New Realm. In fact, we'll do a giveaway. We'll do a giveaway. They have incredible burgers and hot dogs outside. Um, I tell you what, we're gonna make this easy. If you watch this show, and this goes for everybody except if you happen to ride with me there. Well, anybody that doesn't, if you watch this show and you watch this far, hey, congratulations and thank you so much. Come tell me that you watched the show. That's how easy it is. And I'll buy you a burger, I'll buy you a hot dog. You know, the daddy sodas and the other extracurricular drinks will be on you. But that's how easy the giveaway is. You better yet, I will give you the choice. I will give you the choice. If you come tell me that you watched the show or that you watched this show, and that's the only way you'll know about the giveaway. If you say that you watched this show and you see me at New Realm, I will either buy you I will buy you food, hamburgers or hot dogs, or I'll buy you a Deep South shirt. And that goes for any of them on the table. So you want a Gemma Jules shirt, you want a Skrill Ride shirt. Don't know if he's going to be there. My guess is he is, but I don't know anything. Um, honestly, anybody, any of the shirts sitting there. If you want to pick one of those instead of getting a hamburger, or hot dog, or some food or something, I'll happily do that. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to give back to you guys because you guys are a majority of the reason we do this show. And like I said, this is why we do it. We do it for you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoy everything. We have reached the end of the show. It is spectacular to do a strong style again. All of our other shows will be coming later this week. Look for what day is it? Yeah, look for the college shows to be on Thursday and Friday. We'll wrap some other stuff up. But I'm Jeremy the Impact York. Thanks for tuning in to another great edition of Strong Style. We will see you guys next week. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting. Deuces, gooses.